Hello, my loves, and welcome to a new episode of Publisher's Brunch with Karis. I am your host, Karis Rogerson. I am a writer, reader, and podcaster, and I am coming at you today from super sunny Knoxville, Tennessee, where I have come to spend the holidays. And I just would like to remind you really quickly who I am, what the show is. This is a podcast where I interview romance authors and we sort of pretend we're at brunch. And so my questions are themed around what we might be discussing at that time of brunch. It's very fun. I've been having a blast with it. You may wonder who I am. I am the author of next year's young adult romance debut, Nat and Cammie's Guide to Writing an Undercover GSA, which you can add on Goodreads today. And I would just I thought I would share a little bit about what's going on before we jump into the interview. I think no, sorry, there's a cat trying to escape. In my last episode, I mentioned that my depression had been pretty rough lately, and that is still the case, but also I've been finding ways to get outside more often, and I found a local coffee shop / bar that I can just be a regular at, and that's been really amazing to sort of feel myself get out of my own head and my own space, and remember that there's a big wide world around me and that not everything is as dire as my brain likes to tell me it is. Sometimes it is that dire and sometimes it isn't, but it's just been really good to reconnect with people. As you may know, I mentioned in my trailer for this show that we'll be doing calls to action every episode. This time, it's themed around the fact that it is the end of the year, and I think that it's a great time to donate a little something to your local food bank. They are great resources for families or individuals who are going through hard times, which, let's be so real, like, a lot of us are going through hard times right now, and also we all have the potential to be going through hard times in the future. A lot of us have been through hard times in the past, and the only way we survive, I think, as a nation and as a broader society is through community and community care. And so I plan to make a teeny tiny little donation to a New York-based food organization or food bank. I do think they prefer money to items because they are able to make that money stretch and go further than our items could go. So that's today. This is a romance podcast, so I would love to talk about some romances I've been reading lately. I just finished a book called Breakaway Hearts by Nikki Lawson. It's a Kindle Unlimited book. It's a hockey romance. Friends to lovers. Super cute, and it was really on theme because I was also in my heated rivalry era for the past month. Will be for the foreseeable future as well. The book absolutely wrecked me. The show consumed me. I am a new person, and I mean that so sincerely. I am literally a new person because of the show and this book. So yeah. This week my interview was with the incredible Elizabeth Stevens, so I will go ahead and read her bio and we can dive on into the interview. Top 10 USA Today best-selling author Elizabeth Stevens writes books where beastly men, or sometimes just beasts, always get the girl. A full-time hybrid Indian traditionally published author, Elizabeth is best known for her Supers in the City series, Montlake, and her indie works like The Bone King and the Starling and Dark City Omega. In all of her books, readers can expect diverse casts, epic world-building, quests with unexpected twists, and women of color being celebrated loudly, Black and biracial women in particular. When she isn't writing, you might find Elizabeth enjoying the outdoors of the Pacific Northwest or traveling and making adventures of her own with her husband, tiny humans, and Dondo. Welcome to the Publisher's Brunch, Elizabeth. Hello, everyone. I am here with Elizabeth Stevens. Elizabeth, would you mind introducing yourself and sharing a bit about your books? to our listeners.
Well, I am Elizabeth Stevens. I am the author of books like All Superheroes Need PR. That's my first traditionally published title. The Bone King and the Starling is my best-selling indie title of all time. And other folks who've been with me longer on this journey may know me from Lord of Population or Dark City Omega, or Taken to Phyrexia, which are my other series starters. But I am overall an author who loves to write the fantastical, where beasts get the girl, and I love showcasing Black women in particular, but just insanely diverse casts that are representative of my actual world.
We love a cast that actually looks like the world around us. Us? Us.
Yeah.
And so my next question is just like a check-in, right? Like, how are you doing? How is the world treating you? How
I
are
mean,
things?
it's 2025, so I think we're all kind of in the same
It's not
boat.
treating us well.
It's not going great. In fact, I would say that it's going pretty poorly for everyone as a collective. I had a baby earlier this year, so he is 5 months old now. So life is a little bit chaos, carnage vibes over here. Plus, I have a 3-year-old, and have like the craziest, busiest year I've had so far as an author. So
Yeah.
it's been really a lot, but it's been a good a lot. So wouldn't change it for
Yeah.
anything.
Wait, All Superheroes Need PR came out 3 or 4 months ago?
Yeah, in May.
Oh, wow. So that was like right around baby time.
Yeah,
I'm
I
like
gave
doing
birth in,
math in my head. That's
yeah.
wild.
Yeah, I was still like promoting my book. And I think the funniest part for me was just like I had I'm part of the Bonkers Romance season 4, which I am like beyond excited about. I mean, when I tell you, when I got like a DM from Katie Robert being like, "Hey, are you maybe interested in like something?" And I was like, Girl, I don't care what it is. I'm in. But like if it's Bonkers, I'm gonna lose my mind. Like I'm gonna
Yes.
go Bonkers because that's like
It's
has
such a
always
good
been
series.
one of my dream projects to work on. One of those things where you're like, man, if I ever got invited, and I just couldn't believe I actually did. That was like a crazy, real, surreal, out of body experience for me. But that book I actually delivered like the first draft of a week before I actually gave birth. It was like my goal. I was like, let me please just get this draft on done.
That's, yeah, you're like, let me get it out, then I can focus on the birth and the baby and
Yep.
not the book.
I know. Oh my God, if
Oh,
Katie Robert
wow.
ever sees this, I'm like so horrified by how delayed I've been on everything with them. But they're so gracious that, you know.
Yeah. And I think this is what is this like season 4 of Bonkers Romance, I think. They've cultivated such a like following, including me. I like follow all of their backer kits
Yeah,
as
yeah.
soon as they're announced, and I'm the covers for that season are just gorgeous. Every single one of them stunning. And
So
I am so excited. Like I literally like is it time yet? Can I buy the books?
I know, I'm so curious. I'm like really excited with the prompt too. I love stuff like that. You know, the whole idea, like I've been accused of like copying people's books that I've
Yeah.
never even heard of before, like let alone read. Yeah.
Yeah.
And so it's just this is a really fun way to tackle that topic. Because I mean I'm sure that ours are all going to be just so radically different based
So
on the
different.
covers alone, I'm sure.
But it's and so for those who listening who aren't familiar, first of all, go follow Katie, go follow the Bonkers Romance Empire, like that whole business regime. No, that's a bad word. Whatever.
Yeah.
And this upcoming season is retellings, spicy retellings of the Bluebeard myth. And so 6 authors, 6 different takes. You can tell by the covers, like Elizabeth just said, like you can tell they're all going to be so different. It's different pairings, it's different like numbers of pairings. You know, it's just like
Yeah.
it's wild and it's going to be so good. But yeah, you've had a year. That's wow. Okay. Well, congrats on turning in Bonkers and getting PR out, and you've got All Superheroes Need photo ops coming up, and you are also in After the End, which was the romance dystopian romance put on by Ali Hazelwood and Adriana Herrera. So like big year.
Yes. Yeah.
Do you have any exciting news or updates that might excite your readers?
I mean, I just got the contract signed for two more books in the superhero series.
Oh, thank God.
So
Okay.
yeah, I'm like, it's so fascinating, but aren't letting me pitch it as book three and four. So,
Oh.
but my editor is very clever, and so it's actually we have like the heroes duology first, and
Mm,
the villains duology second. So there's two more, and then
yes.
it'll be done.
Oh, that's very exciting for me personally. Um, oh my God, I need to just like sit with that for a moment and be like, more books.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay, so the next like session of questions is it scares people because it's icebreaker questions, but I promise they're fun and it's not like, do you have a fun fact? Like it's better than that. Um, Friends who know me know that I'm a little bit obsessed with these. Like anytime I'm in a Discord and there's a lull, I'll just be like, come with some off the wall question just to start conversation.
I love it.
So what I'm doing with this podcast is I'm doing like 2 to 3 questions and they're changing per author just to kind of like mix things up.
Sure.
So if you could put one thing that you own into like an exhibit or a gallery, like a museum exhibit or something, like what would you choose?
I mean, that's kind of an easy one for me, just because and also kind of a personal one, but my auntie, who was like very, 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 very close, I was very close with,
Okay.
passed away really unexpectedly. And she was a hoarder, but one of the things she hoarded, because she used to be a model and was into
Oh
fashion and a
wow.
dancer, are all of these like insane pieces of clothing, like vintage, like Chanel from like the 50s stuff that she never wore that are like falling.
Amazing.
But one of them is this like white outfit that I just don't even know how to describe. There's no possible use case for it. It's like a white leather outfit with this like huge like this fur. It's divine. And like I'm not a fashion
Incredible.
queen, as you can probably tell by the sweats attire constantly, but that is what I would put into because that I mean all of her stuff just needed to have been exhibited at some point anyways. So that's what I would choose.
Yeah.
I know you're probably expecting a bookish answer, but books can
I
be
mean, I was like, if it were me, I'd be putting my books in the museum.
yeah.
This is much,
No,
this is really cool.
yeah,
So,
that's what I would do. That's what I would do.
yeah, that's really amazing. And what a great way to sort of like honor and keep that your aunt's like history and story going, right? Like
Hey, one day I'll get it
yeah,
together and like do something with her insane collection, but
that
for
would
now
be really rad.
it's
But yeah,
yeah.
maybe on the year when you have fewer than like 3 books coming out.
Yeah, maybe that.
What is the best thing that you have crossed off your author bucket list over the course of your
I
career?
mean, we already talked about it. It was being
Ah,
invited to
yes.
Bonkers. I think also though, like you know, an author told me really early on, and this was some of the best marketing advice I've ever gotten. If you are an author or aspiring or whatever, and you're listening to this, Erik is one of the marketing gurus, gods of the industry, and he does these like 30-day author crash courses occasionally, where it's like 30 days of author marketing, and it's like 30-minute exercises a day. I did that very early on in my career, and it was really life-changing because one of the things he talked about was goal setting. And I realized, like, as much as I would love to see myself in bookstores and would love to see myself on the USA Today bestseller list, like, my real goal was to be able to do that job full time. And it's expensive and only getting more expensive because of the yellow-haired goon that drives this bus. But
Oh God.
the thing for me was like cutting all of that stuff out and then just focusing on how can I like maximize my revenue. And so when I woke up on like whatever week after I'd had my release for All Superheroes Need PR, and I had had like a very weird release for that book. It had not gone super duper well from what I could tell. Like I hadn't really like my numbers weren't showing up great in the dashboard that I had access to, and like everyone was shouting about it online, and I was so like everyone was very effusive, but I couldn't really see like what was going on. And so then when I woke up to like an email, the first email I saw was like, "Congrats on making the list." I literally responded, "What list?" I had no idea what anyone was talking
Yeah.
And then like Kennedy Ryan DM'd me and was like, "Didn't your publisher like write to you and tell you that you made like 9 on the USA Today bestseller list?" And I was like,
Oh,
"Nope, I wrote to them to tell them." And
oh shit.
yeah, so that was like pretty crazy. I wasn't expecting it. At this point in my career, I wasn't expecting it with a Montlake book, and I wasn't expecting it for that release. So that was dope, and like a
Yeah.
testament to the power of my PA because she's freaking phenomenal. Like contacted is like hand contacting bookstores to be like stock
Oh,
this, and
amazing.
to my readers who are all looking for alternatives to the big beasts and willing to read my book anyway, even though it is like an Amazon published book, from wherever they can get it. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I just got chills because I check the USA Today bestseller list like every Wednesday.
Oh my
Wake
gosh,
up, get my
really?
coffee, check the list because I have so many friends who are publishing books like every week, and I'm like, I gotta know. And even if it's not friends, it's like there's that author that I'm familiar with, and I want to know if they hit the list. And so every week it's like, a good 10 minutes of like, oh my god,
Well,
and I had
that's
that moment.
so nice. And like for folks that do that and you let the authors know, that's really invaluable because so many of us like just don't expect it and like don't check every week. And also because it's like it's disappointing. Like if you do
Yes.
think maybe and then you check and you're not there. Like I was so disappointed because I was number 9 the first week and then because my publisher apparently has no faith in me, didn't, or like I don't know, there was also something going on with Ingram Sparks, which is like a
Ah.
distributor that folks don't know. I don't know. There's like I've heard tales that there was like an ice raid and so like people didn't come to work and like it's just like yeah, horrible. I don't even know what's true or not, but whatever the case, like bookstores weren't getting their books and so like I had bookstores that had ordered books and had like 3 or 4 week delays in getting their
Oh,
copies. And
jeez.
Amazon was really quick turning those around, but they didn't make it super clear how bookstores could get from Amazon unless like I'm telling them directly. So long story short, I fell off the list completely the second week. And I thought that was a little bit annoying because normally you don't drop
Yeah.
off completely if you're in the top 10, you maybe drop to 50 or 100 or something like that. But so that was yeah, it is really amazing. I've hit it twice since then and never checked on my own, always just somebody like you reaching out and being
Yeah.
like, "Hey, did
I
you see?"
mean, that feels like the healthy move to be like, I'm not gonna check. Like, I have books out that could be hitting the list, so I don't want to look. Someone will tell me
Yeah,
because we
hopefully.
will.
Yeah, yeah, no, seriously, it's so great. And it's good to know that you will because sometimes I'm like, oh my gosh, have I just like been hitting the list and just like don't know? No, yeah, it's
No, we are readers and authors, the ones like who are checking. We're like so excited, as you know, as a reader and author. Like, it's just God. I love the book world and like the supportive book world, right? Where it's like we're amping, building each other up and like really cheering for each other.
And
But
I really do think that is the majority of the book world. Like
yes.
the toxic surface stuff, I feel like is loud, but it's not
So
that,
loud.
not that
Yeah,
awful.
100%. And I also love back at the start of this question when you said the setting the goal and like being really realistic about it and like you can't control no author can control whether they hit the list or whether they win an award or whether I don't know, like Stephen King blurbs their book if they're writing horror. Like you can't control you can try to, you can email him, but like you can't control it.
Yeah.
But you can control your expectations and like putting in the work to make it a sustainable business endeavor. And I am self-publishing my first book in June, and I'm like trying to be really normal about it, and I'm failing most days. So it'll be like, what if I hit this? Shh, it's gonna come out, and that's gonna be enough. Like, be realistic.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, exactly. Like it's just setting expectations, but then at the same time, like doing your best and everything you can to give yourself the best odds and then just
Yes.
rolling the dice because that's all you can really do at that point.
Yeah. And like knowing like I did everything I can so I can be happy in my
Yeah,
work, whether or
for
not it
sure.
looks like I thought it would. Because it's
Yeah.
it's never gonna look like you think it is. Like I started querying 10 years ago and was like, I'm gonna publish with a big five publisher and now it's like, well no, you're gonna publish it yourself and it's gonna be really great and fun and you're gonna have like control over things, but it's gonna be different. So,
Yeah, the way that river winds is fascinating because I also started in the query trenches. I was like,
hmm
no, 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 no. And then,
hmm
was still writing on the side and then hobby published, a couple of books where
hmm
I was like, I'm never going to be a full-time author. I'm just going to, put these out there because I don't know what else to do with them. And then I don't know, long story short, ended up in 2020 in January, right before the pandemic hit.
wow.
So like the universe kind of came together for me on that one that like I
hmm
didn't, quit a year later or something like
hmm
that. But I quit right before we all went into lockdown because I was living in Germany at the time.
Oh,
And in
yeah.
Germany because it's socialized help for people that are needing it in a very normal
Yeah.
way that I think
hmm
most countries should probably get with. But that's neither here
hmm
nor there. You actually get paid still,
Yeah.
like 60% of your income if you quit. So not just if you're fired, but if you quit too. So that was kind of the like little
hmm
teeny tiny, I mean, at your tax rate, it's like it really comes out to pennies. Like if I told you the
Yeah.
actual amount, it was like it's like less than 1,000 euros. It's like 800 euros is like what I was getting. It's like very
hmm
little, but it's
Yeah.
it's enough for me to be able to not be poor and broke
hmm
and like I mean poor sure, but broke and hungry is and so I was able to like actually start
hmm
um based on that. And it's been so strange now that I actually have a traditional contract because I never sought one out since then. And then now
mm
that I'm like in this weird position where I actually just left my agent and like
hmm
not sure I even want another one. Like I'm just,
Yeah.
I don't know. I think Cleo Evans once said it, or maybe it was Sam Nacosta, where they were like people come to me all the time trying to get
hmm
trying to get me to go trad. And I'm like, I'll sell you my current rights, but there's nothing in the world that could convince me, for some of their, better selling projects to give that up.
Fair enough. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Um, wow, I grew up in Europe, so I should be familiar with the fact that like they pay you even when you quit your job, but it still blows my mind because my whole professional career has been in the US where it's like you quit your job, you're just good luck.
Good luck. Yeah. And I mean, I think things are probably a lot more expensive in Berlin now, than when I left, but I can't imagine it comparing to Seattle. Seattle's just like, I don't know,
Mm-hmm.
it's a weird, really, really expensive bubble. I'm not sure
Mm-hmm.
where you are, but it always blows my
I'm in New
mind.
York.
Oh, good. Yeah. So
So another
Yeah.
expensive bubble.
Yeah, really. So it's a wild. It's
Yeah.
wild.
It is. Moving on to the next course of our imaginary brunch that we're imaginarily
Sorry,
having.
I am like all over the place here. So appreciate you
No,
keeping us in order.
I love it. It's better than like a yes. And then I'm like, okay. Yeah. But we're gonna gossip a little bit. And by that I mean I'm gonna ask what is the best story that you have heard lately? And this could be a fictional story that you saw on TV, read in a book, something that you experienced or witnessed like at a coffee shop and you saw the most romantic first date ever or something
It's
like
funny
that.
that you say that because the only thing I can think of is I watched Bon Appetit, Your Majesty,
Yes.
and yeah, I'm a convert. I'm converted. So like Yuna, that actress, I have a huge crush on, and I've just been like following her through like the
Mm-hmm.
K-drama world. I'm on um King the Land something. It's like a
Okay.
hotel. She's like a hotel employee and he's like the sexy brooding hotel owner's
Perfect.
son. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I'm on that one now. But the Bon Appetit, Your Majesty was everything I wanted it to be and more. It was K-drama plus Great British Bake Off. And I just needed it in my life
Yeah.
because there's like all of this baking, cooking. It was so good.
It
Amazing.
sounds like a really perfect mashup of like you get the story and the possibly romance and everything, but also the baking and the
It's like kind of interesting too from like a historical perspective. Like
Okay.
I'm not usually like a historical romance girly that cares about the historical accuracy. If you've read The Bone King, you'll know I do not care about historical accuracy. So that was like a fun little added thing.
Nice.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, historical accuracy is the reason I stopped writing historical fiction in like middle school because I grew up only reading historical fiction for some reason and I was like, well, this is what I'm going to write. And then someone said the word research to me and I was like, "Oh, no, no, no. I will write contemporary."
Yeah, right. That was actually one of the most liberating things about writing The Bone King and the Starling was I just wanted a Viking romance with a black lead. And I just don't want to have to make that make sense. Like I don't want to have to make it make sense. Because if I try to make it make sense, it's probably going to be a horrible story.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it was kind of a horrible story in terms of power dynamic if you've read The Bone King, because that's like one of my stories that deals probably most dramatically with power imbalance and with and race relation as a combination there. But one of the things I gave myself permission to do was not a damn
Yeah.
liquor research. The only liquor research I did for that book was for like the toucher and die moments. I was like, what?
Ooh.
How, like, what's the melting point of metal where if you poured it into someone's mouth, it
Oh
would
god.
remain liquid?
Yeah.
And then I was like, really, I did a real big deep dive into this because I was like, what actually kills you? Apparently, there's some people think it's the steam that
Yeah.
actually kill you, but the
Oh,
fun,
that.
and then the cooling is also the horrifying part
Ooh.
because then they just like
Ooh.
clunk to the side. Yeah. Anyways, it's a good
Yeah.
scene.
Ah. Yeah. But yeah, that's so funny the little things that you wind up researching where it's like I'm not researching like how the Vikings did whatever. I'm researching specifically touch her and you die by
Yeah.
doing this.
Yes. Exactly.
The beauty of being an author is that you can just be like, listen, this is fictional.
Yeah.
Get with the program or be
And that's also
sad.
the nice thing. I mean, it's just so like once you get to a certain point in your career, that's like really the liberating, the moment where you're really just like free. Like when you have enough people who are like understand your work, it doesn't even you don't even have to be like a bestseller or whatever and have a critical mass. It's just like when your readers, however many there may be, understand you and are like, I am ready, give it to me, then you
Yes.
can just deliver what you do best instead of
Yeah.
having to find like define genre conventions and like make sure your marketing all ties into the same package. And that's honestly like say what you will about Montlake from an author perspective. I know a lot of authors have had, you know, weird experiences with them because they're such an atypical publisher, but I just adore them. I just think that they get me in a way
Yeah.
where I was like, I don't know who else would have published this damn book. Like,
Well,
oh,
they should have. I'm really glad they published it, personally, as one
same.
who read it. What are some recent obsessions of yours, whether that's a book, a movie, or like products that are just changing your life, sunsets, ephemeral things? I don't know.
My God. Well, oh boy, this is gonna make me sound really chaotic, but so Physical Asia is like a competition show, competition exercise show that I am obsessed with. So I don't know what it is about that show and Great British Bake Off, but I watch them like apparently I like competition shows. I don't know what they're doing to my brain. It's clearly a science, because there's a
Uh-huh.
lot of them. But those two, online shopping for my daughter's outdoor gear because she goes to an outdoor camp, like an outdoor daycare, and she's outside
Cool.
like in this terrible weather right now, and they make all
Wow.
kinds of extraordinarily expensive rain gear for that. So that's been a weird new thing that I've dived into. Um,
Yeah.
but also, and bringing this all back to my books, my Bonkers book that I'm writing is like one of my obsessions. I am
Oh,
obsessed with it. It's like,
yes.
I on the rewrite, and this is why it's been taking me so long because I kind of wrote the whole thing with that deadline in mind. Okay, you're gonna give birth, write it, and just get it out. And my first drafts always end up being more like a really very robust outline because I go
Yeah.
over them very aggressively, and it's really the second draft where the book actually comes together. And like I just added a horror element that's like really giving me life. And
Nice.
I think it's Katee actually got into my head because I had the honor of having brunch with her and another author at in Yakima, outside of Yakima Book Company's Romance Bookstore Day last year, and Aja Bradley was the other author, and I was just like, she was talking so much. They were talking about so much about their horror obsession, how they're like starting to write horror and like just move fully into horror and like away from romance and stuff. And I think maybe that got into my head because, yeah, I'm also a horror girly.
Nice.
Horror is my second favorite genre after romance, and this one is definitely one of my scarier books.
Okay. I will prepare myself
Yeah.
before Bonkers season 4. I have always been a scaredy cat, but like one, I'm a big Katie Robert fan, and they've been talking about like moving into horror, and I'm like, well, damn it, now I have to get used to horror because like I'm
Yeah.
gonna follow them.
Right. Obviously. Yeah.
So, and then of course I have friends who write in the horror like space or the horror romance type space, so I'm like, all right, I gotta just like get brave. Like I've got to start practicing.
I do think that horror romance is like, I do think Katie has like an eye for these like, market trends. And I do think that horror romance is really becoming so popular now. I think it's
Yeah.
going to have like a moment probably in like 3 or 4 years.
Yeah, and that makes sense to me because I feel like the past like year or two, it's been horror and romance are like two really big genres that have been doing really well. So it's like, okay, let's just mash them together. Like you want so a little bit of horror and a little bit of escapism, you get them both in one
Yeah.
book.
Yeah, I haven't really read. I've read like Talia Sanchez's Slashed was so fun. I really enjoyed that one, but I haven't read a lot of like that one's not necessarily scary. It's like
Gotcha.
a Final Girl type like
Nice.
thieves, like haunted house masked man type thing. But you're never really, I don't think you're really scared. It's just like horror and fun. It's like almost campy horror fun.
Oh, nice.
And I'm like this that's kind of where I've like drifted into like this Bonkers book is like really actually scary. And I'm like I haven't read one like that yet. Like where it's
Nice.
really where you're like
Like
terrified.
scared, scared.
Yeah, I mean like Isabel Cañas does that. I mean I read the
Yeah.
Hacienda, but that one's like not necessarily a romance. Like there's not a happily ever after with a couple at the end. Like there's a HA overall for the book, but yeah, so that's more that also I think was a big inspiration for me. I love the Hacienda. That book.
Yeah.
Oh,
That
can we?
Isabel Cañas is an author where I'm like, I need to get into horror so I can read
Oh
Isabel's
my
books
gosh,
because
yes.
I hear such good things.
It took me a year to read the Hacienda, and it's not because it's not well written. It's because one, it's actually a testament to the book because I started reading it while pregnant, and when pregnant, it's the kind of thing where I have like complete ADHD reading brain, where it's like I open something, I close it, and it ceases to exist. And that was
Yeah.
a book where I like kept going back to it. It just took me so
Nice.
long, and then
Yeah.
finished reading it postpartum, and it was just like shook me to my core. I'm obsessed, but I have yet to muster the courage to start another one of her books. And it's actually not the horror elements, those I can deal with, but like the star-crossed lovers yearning of her books is
Um,
so like the angst. I'm just like I need to brave myself for the angst, really.
that's
So
real.
good.
Yeah. Do you have any sort of earnest or sincere opinions on romance, like the genre specifically? Like anything where you're like, this is just like a strongly held opinion about
Yeah,
in a
that
positive
it's
way?
like it's the best.
Yeah.
It's the best genre. It's so good. And I went to Beguiled Books grand opening this past weekend and signed some books there, and seeing the store just like packed from the moment that I arrived to set up to the moment I left for breakdown was so uplifting. It's just awesome that like romance has always been the best-selling genre, but now it's really getting its time in the light because
Mm-hmm.
it's such a strange like even my like mother-in-law was like horrified when she read one of my first books and was like, "Oh my gosh, can't you write under a pen name? Like you're gonna scar your children," kind of thing. And it's like I understand completely that like writing under a
Mm-hmm.
pen name is so smart, and I should have probably done that, but it's too late for that. That ship has long since sailed.
Yeah.
And but it's just like it's such an old school mentality of like maybe this is a thing that even she read, but like kept on her shelf in like her special private area. And my mom,
Mm-hmm.
my mom had like bookshelves full of like Harlequin romance novels, but like
Nice.
we never spoke of them, never was like, oh, this is a book I'm reading right now when you're talking like in a
Mm-hmm.
group setting about books you're reading. And it's just so cool now to see like cons and people wearing like smutty
Mm-hmm.
swag and just like women
Yes.
owning their sexuality and like living it through their books. It's the best thing ever. I love
I
it.
agree. And I went to, when the Ripped Bodice opened in Brooklyn, I went to their opening day and never seen that many people like in
Right?
line for a bookstore. Like it, and the bookstore itself, I like stepped inside and was like, no, 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 there's no space here for me. I'm gonna get in line and like have my book signed by an author, but like
Yeah.
it was, and every time like I'll go to events there sometimes for like really popular authors, and it'll be like down the block and around the block and 150 people there, and it's like this is sweet, this is awesome. Like,
So cool. And one of the things that my mom always remarks on too is just that like this is a $1 billion industry run by women. Well, mostly, you ignore the fact that like HarperCollins, head of HarperCollins and stuff was like probably a
right.
dude. But I actually don't even know if that's true. But point being, like, it's
Yeah.
still a vastly overwhelming majority women owned space. Like, we are the consumers, we are the money makers, we are the money spenders. Like, we occupy all sides of this spectrum. And it's just like, obviously, there are men in here and we welcome them because this is also a very welcoming space. But it's just, it's very cool to see women kind of owning this bubble and like
Yes.
seeing it grow and grow and grow.
And like there's so much that I've heard about like specifically like teen girls where it's like so much of what they love is like it powers the culture, but it's also very like looked down upon, and I feel like that just continues as you age into adulthood and become women, where it's like yeah, you're the ones, like you're spending money and you're running households most often, however what you like is cringe or it's
Right.
embarrassing or whatever, and it's like, well, actually no, just because we're women doesn't mean that we're lesser, which is such a like no-brainer to say, but there are literally people out there who cannot grasp that,
No,
and a
totally.
lot of them are on threads.
Yeah, yeah. And I mean, even when I like, it took my husband, I think, even a long time for him to get really comfortable when, we're meeting new people or his coworkers and they ask me what I do. And I'm like, I write romance novels. And they're like, oh, like, I think some of it is like, damn, that's like pretty cool. Like, we've never met an
Yeah,
author before. But also some of it is like, oh my gosh,
right.
girdle my loins, like, like adult kinds, and it's like,
Oh
yes,
no.
because like I prefer romantic relationships to happen between people with like fully functioning cerebral cortex, like yeah, like that's
Yeah.
yes,
Yeah, I practice telling people that I write mostly because I'm like, well, the more people know, the more people can follow me and buy my books, right? Like
yeah,
it's
makes
event. But
sense.
I was at the ER recently, and they're like, so what do you do? And I was like, yeah, I write romance novels. And there was like a security guard and a nurse and a doctor, and they were all like, oh. I was like, yeah, ask me about them. Let's talk.
Exactly. Yeah, yeah, totally. Totally. But you would be surprised, how many people are like, I mean, it's so funny that people at the post office know me so well now, and they're always
Oh
like,
yeah.
anytime I'm holding up the line, because I'm always holding up the line, they're always like, she writes books, you should go get them. Like, one of them, like, there is like, my age. She also looks like me, and she's like, a huge fan of my books, so it's really
Oh, I
fun.
love that.
Yeah, it's fun to see, the changing way.
Yeah, yeah, it is a very like encouraging and like heartwarming, heart-filling
For
thing that we
sure.
see. Have you had any moments in publishing, either on the hard, like really hard or like really good side, that you want to share? Like a moment, like
I mean, yeah, my whole publishing experience with publishing has been hard. So I
Fair.
like wouldn't even know where to begin. And no, it's not been hard. But actually, like in that sense, it's been like, oh my gosh, I've been like beaten down and trodden on. Like it's nothing like that. It's just
Yeah.
publishing is hard for anybody. Like
Hmm.
everybody's gonna get punched in the face at some point that tries to get into the space. Like
Yeah.
regardless of what entry point you come in at, there's
Hmm.
very that get very lucky with like a breakout and have a great agent and a great editor and supportive teams the whole way through. I mean, I think Allie
Hmm.
Hazelwood may even be one of those like rare, unique birds because she
Hmm.
says nothing but the greatest things about her,
Oh, nice.
her literary agent and
Hmm.
has had just that kind of support from the very beginning that's,
Hmm.
enabled her to thrive in the way that she has and deserves. So,
Hmm.
it's, a rare thing. Most
Hmm.
other people I talk to, and I'm like, hey, you like your agent? They're like, eh, like,
Usually.
yeah,
Yeah.
no, but,
Oh,
or,
yeah.
they're the best, or like, how's your editorial team treat you? I mean, I tried like sat at a breakfast with a bunch of authors and was asking them about like which publishing companies they like working with, because I actually like working with mom.
Hmm.
I don't want to work with them exclusively forever.
Yeah.
I want to, my whole thing in publishing is like, with when it comes to publishing and being an author, you have to be constantly evolving your strategy. You can't be like sitting there expecting the same thing that worked last year to work 3 years from then. So like you have to
That's
just
real.
like I'm like throwing myself in every direction possible in order to
Hmm.
figure out how to, maintain momentum and like growth.
Hmm.
So I don't think I got one author there that was like, I have a publishing house I really like working with. So I
Hmm.
like I don't know what there is out there.
No,
But
it's really hard. And you'll hear like glowing things from one person at an imprint, and the same imprint, same editor, same genre, everything. The next person is like, it was the worst experience of my life.
totally,
And
it's
it's,
like really hard to know what to do with that
yeah.
information. Like
Yeah, you're like, great, now I'm back at like zero.
yeah,
Like, I have no
exactly.
information to go off of.
Okay, I gotta go in blind. So yeah, that's also why especially on threads I get so annoyed with authors giving
Hmm.
advice because advice doesn't work for
Yeah.
anyone besides you. So you can say what worked for you, and I think our job as authors or aspiring is to
Hmm.
look at that, take the amalgam of advice,
Yes.
find people in the space that look and feel most like you, and then try to apply what makes sense and what brings
Hmm.
joy, because that's also something that Erik mentions. So one of the things that I was going to say was just that speaking of positive things that happen in this
Hmm.
industry, one of those positive things was an email that I received in like mid 2024. I can't even,
Yes.
must have been 2023. But it was from a wonderful editor, a HarperCollins
Yeah.
editor named Aj. And Aj, you may know her on Threads as your book fairy godmother, but she
Yes.
is, yes, she's
Yes.
like super vocal and really wonderful and always trying to
Hmm.
uplift like marginalized authors and voices. And she reached out to me proactively, and I thought it was a spam email, and it wasn't. And we ended up chatting, and she was with a digital imprint only at that time of HarperCollins. And
Hmm.
I'm not really interested in working with a digital imprint just because of where I'm at in my career and like the fact that
Hmm.
I have done so much digital imprint only stuff on my own. I'm like, okay, I got that covered at the very least. And
Hmm.
she, with no expectation of us working together, put me in touch with my then agent. And since
Wow.
then has been like a huge advocate, always says like positive things about me. Like
Hmm.
she just like gives free advice to anyone that, like to people that ask or that don't ask,
Yeah.
and that she can't help because she wants to see
Hmm.
more black and brown faces in the space. And I think that
Hmm.
that's like a rare and wonderful thing, and I'm super grateful for her. And we need more, people of color working in publishing for sure, because that's what
For
ended up
sure.
happening. Like because of
Hmm.
her, I ended up getting my first book deal, and
Yeah.
that's crazy.
That's amazing.
There was no incentive for her to do that.
Other than like the love of books and the love of seeing more people represented and representing themselves, right? Like the more people have the opportunity to publish, the more people will have the opportunity to
Yeah.
publish. Like I'm making weird gestures with my hands, but I'm like, it's like a growing thing. Like it's just like ripples in a lake, whatever. Anyway.
Yeah, I mean, I think that R.F. Kuang, yes, to like the genius, the book
Yes.
industry genius. I wish I had, because I quote her all the time, and I don't remember the exact statistic, but I really should look it up so I can figure it out. But she always quotes the statistic when she talks about this, about how they say that the publishing is becoming so much more diverse, and it just really isn't. But she always harkens it back to, in like the 90s, there was one black editor hired at HarperCollins, and they accounted for like a 5% growth or something in that particular time period for the amount of black authors that got published. And like that single editor made that much of a difference. And it went back down almost to baseline after they left. That's just, it's just, the chart doesn't go like this. Like, in space, So it's tough.
And it's one of those things where, like, I have been interested in books my whole life, and I've, like, often flirted with the idea of working in publishing, and I care so deeply about maximizing opportunities for everyone in publishing, for BIPOC authors, queer authors, disabled authors, but also I am, at the end of the day, still a white woman, and, like, I can champion books by black authors, and do, and like read them and shout about them and have authors on podcasts, but ultimately I don't know that I'm ever going to be able to be as successful or as helpful as like a black editor in a publishing house, because I don't know.
I mean, I don't know how you measure like help, but like it's just like, I just think that like somebody like Katie Robert, whose platform exists, it seems to just champion, and same with Ali Hazelwood, like the vast majority of authors that both of those folks champion are those from marginalized backgrounds. And it's like, it's not done in a way that feels disingenuous. Like it's like, I can tell that when they freak out about my books, they're not just doing that performatively. Like it's really wonderful. You can do a lot. Like you can do a lot of help. And and like just by virtue of being a black editor doesn't also mean that you're going to be helpful. Like
that is so true. That is so true.
Like, I really wished that I had an interview with a black literary agent a while back, and I really desperately wanted it to work, but like the contract they gave me was like crazy. I was like, this is a contract that a moron would sign. Like this is just great. Like, why would I give, like, anyways, it was just like, it was lunacy. I couldn't believe the contract. And I was like, this isn't helpful. Like, why can't we make something work here that's like fair for both of us? But I don't know. I think I could rant about my reasons for that, but I do think that in this space, like, it can be like nerve-wracking being like a black person, just because you are like, am I going to be taken advantage of at some point? And so then you end up offering people these kinds of contracts that are like really protective of yourself, but in a way that makes it hard for other people to work with you. So I mean, I found, that a bit disheartening, but it's, neither here nor there. The point is that you can be really helpful still.
Yeah, no, it's yes. Yeah, thank you. That was a great point. And I know, like, I'll see Allie doing these like giveaways where it's like, get a free copy of my book and this like other author who's debuting or who's like not as popular as Ali Hazelwood, who is. And I'm always like, that's really neat. Like, that is such a simple and, like, impactful way to use your platform to help others and to, like, give them eyes and recognition and, like, more readers. Yeah. So I aspire to that as well.
Yeah, I mean, I also hope that, like, in my career, I'm able to, like, give back and, like, bring people with, lend a hand backwards and...
Yeah, it's the whole, like, don't pull up the ladder behind you, but, like, instead, don't just leave it there either, but, like, pull out your hand and help people get up the ladder if publishing is a ladder.
Yeah.
Are there any bookish or research rabbit holes that you have found yourself going down lately?
Besides, like, temperature of metal?
Yeah, I did think of that when you shared that. I was like, oh, perfect answer for this question.
Yeah, that's probably my only real answer there. No, I haven't had done much research for my books lately, just because they've been pure fantasy and like
Fair.
total chaos.
I love that. Yeah. Is there any romance novels that you have read and adored recently that you would like to share?
Oh yes. I always have to look at my Kindle for this because I can't remember anything. But
Yeah.
I'm reading False Play right now
Okay.
by Yinn. I can't pronounce anyone's names. Yinn Quirós, Quiros, and then
Okay.
Strikeout by Millie Perez. And it's so strange because I always read like, I don't know, I read like fun like contemporary romances when I'm like writing like really dark. So it's just funny that
Yeah.
these are I'm reading and just so opposite of what I'm writing. They're both False Play is a hockey romance and
Okay.
Strikeout is a baseball romance. And
Oh,
then
nice.
I just downloaded At First Smile by Melissa Whitney, which is also, oh my God, it's also a hockey romance.
You're in your
Also a
sports
hockey
romance era.
apparently. And I'm really excited about that one because I don't think I've ever read a book with a blind FMC before, and I feel stupid for not having done that yet. It's kind of hard. I try to read like own voices books like whenever and wherever I can, and so I guess I just haven't, to my own detriment, haven't found that many disabled authors. Like I don't have that many in my roster.
Yeah. Well,
But
I mean, there is also the fact of like the way publishing is set up and the way books come to us is like you have to dig for
anything
things
that's not
beyond just cis,
Emily
straight,
Henry.
white, able-bodied, etc. You know?
I
Like,
love Emily. I mean, Emily Henry, she's perfectly fine, but like
yeah.
it is like create kind of crazy where you like Google pretty much anything and it's like, oh, have you read this book by Emily Henry? And
Right. Yeah, you
okay,
walk into the store and it's like, here's 7 tables of this one author, and there's one table with 20 authors.
one other book that I read
Okay.
that, okay, I know spooky season's over, but Now You See Him by Nina Saxena
Oh,
is
yes.
yes, yes, please, and more. Thank you.
Yeah, I've seen that one as like Ghost and Ghost Brother, and I was like, oh,
Yes,
okay.
exactly. Ghost,
I'm
real life
intrigued.
brother, twin brother, and
Yeah.
Ghost. And so good.
Color me interested, for sure.
It's great.
One more question and then we'll get to the like wrapping up everything. Is there a soapbox that you would like to get on, whether that's romance related, publishing related, or just like about grocery stores or something else? Like any sort of thing where you're like, this has been on my mind lately and I feel like I should be able to talk about it.
Oh, I do have one, but it's quite saucy. But my current soapbox is that I like honestly don't even know if I should say this out loud. Well, let's hope like no industry people don't see this. But I have currently been thinking a lot about the role of the literary agent and whether or not they are needed. So part of me is like I don't know. I find it a very black thing where it's like if something isn't working for you a little bit, you're like, let me just see if I can do it myself. Maybe it's just a people thing, but I have definitely been rethinking of like I'm like sitting on top of like a couple potential contracts right now with future literary agents, and it's like there's something staying my hand, and like I feel like I should listen to that. Yeah.
Yeah,
So.
listen to your gut and also like this is maybe a hot take, but like it might just be like you're in a phase in your career where you don't need that business partnership and maybe that'll change or maybe you just don't need that.
Or maybe it just could be written out of the system altogether.
The system would be so different, and I'm not saying that it would be worse. It could be way better.
I just don't see the like that. It's like they're just they. It's just what happens when you hold a lot of contacts. If you can hold those contacts yourself.
Yeah.
Anyways,
Much to think about. Much to think about. Yeah.
Yeah.
Where can people find you to follow you, stay up to date on your upcoming releases on the internet?
Follow me at E. Stevens Author or Elizabeth Stevens Author on TikTok. I'm more active on Instagram. TikTok is not my friend these days, but
Is it
you know,
anyone's?
yeah, I mean, working your way out of the shadows, whatever. Who even knows how that goes? Yeah, threads for more of my like bookish hot takes, and my website, which is booksbyelizabeth.com. So,
Perfect. All
mhm.
right. Well, thank you so much. I had so much fun chatting with you.
That's all for today, my loves. I hope you enjoyed this episode. I hope you found a good book recommendation. Hope you go ahead and order Elizabeth's latest book, All Superheroes Need Photo Ops. I've heard nothing but incredible praise about it. And go out, live your best lives, be good to one another, and I'll see you in a couple weeks. Bye.